Imagine you collapse on a busy street. Dozens of people are all around you. How many of them will stop to help? Your gut says, obviously someone will. Look how many people are here. But here is the deeply strange truth that psychologists have proven again and again. The more people who are watching, the less likely it is that anyone helps you at all. It sounds completely backwards. A bigger crowd should obviously mean more help, not less. And yet the opposite keeps happening. So why do people freeze the moment others are watching? And how can knowing this one trick actually save your life one day? The answer is stranger than you'd expect. This question burst into the world in 1964 with a story out of New York City. A young woman was attacked outside her apartment building late at night. A major newspaper reported that 38 of her neighbors saw or heard the attack, and that not a single one of them did anything to help. The story horrified the entire country. How could 38 ordinary people watch and do absolutely nothing? That single headline launched decades of psychological research. But hold on to that number, 38. We are going to come back to it. Two psychologists, John Darley and Bib Latan, refused to believe people were simply heartless. They suspected the crowd itself was doing something to people's minds. So they brought the situation into the laboratory and tested it directly. In one experiment, a person sat alone in a room, filling out a questionnaire. Then smoke began quietly pouring into the room through a vent. When people were alone, they reacted fast. Most got up and reported the smoke almost immediately. But when other calm people were placed in the same smoky room, something eerie happened. Everyone stayed seated. They glanced around, saw the others doing nothing, and so they did nothing too. Some sat in a room slowly filling with smoke for several minutes, calmly, because no one else seemed worried. In another study, a participant heard someone in the next room appeared to have a seizure. When they believed they were the only one who could hear it, almost everyone rushed to help. But when they believed several others could hear it too, far fewer moved at all. The numbers were stark. Alone, almost everyone helped, and fast. In a group, many never moved at all, even as the seconds ticked away. And it wasn't that they didn't care. Many were visibly anxious, trembling, frozen in an agony of indecision. Their bodies wanted to help. The crowd held them in place. This is the power of what psychologists call social proof. We constantly, unconsciously use other people as our guide for how to behave. It's usually a useful shortcut. In an emergency, it can be deadly. From these experiments, they uncovered two hidden forces at work. The first is called diffusion of responsibility. When you are the only person present, 100% of the responsibility to act sits on you. You feel the full weight of it, and you move. But in a crowd of 20, that same weight feels split 20 different ways. Each person quietly assumes that surely someone else will step in. So everyone waits for someone else. And because everyone is waiting, no one ever moves. The second force is even sneakier. It's called pluralistic ignorance. In a confusing moment, we look at the people around us to decide whether it's truly an emergency. But every single one of them is doing the exact same thing. All of you are nervously reading each other, looking for a cue that never comes. So a group of genuinely frightened people can end up looking perfectly, eerily calm. Each person privately thinks something is wrong, while publicly pretending everything is fine. Now let's go back to that famous number, the 38 witnesses who supposedly did nothing. Because here is the uncomfortable part. The real story was almost nothing like the headline. Later investigations found the famous number was wildly exaggerated. Very few people actually saw the full attack. Most only heard a fragment in the dark and were confused. And several people did in fact call for help. One neighbor even ran down and held her in her final moments. The story of 38 cold, indifferent witnesses was largely a myth. But that myth did something strange and important. It accidentally pushed scientists to discover an effect that is absolutely real. The headline was false. The bystander effect it inspired is very, very true. So if you ever collapse in a crowd, the science hands you one simple, powerful trick. Do not shout for help to everyone. If you shout to the whole crowd, the responsibility just dissolves across all of them. Instead, point at one specific person and speak directly to them. You, in the blue shirt, call for an ambulance right now.
That single direct command breaks the spell instantly. By naming one person, you hand all the responsibility back to them alone, and they move. So the people who freeze in a crowd are not monsters. They are caught in an invisible trap, a trap built from split responsibility and a circle of frightened people all watching each other. And the strange, hopeful thing is that knowing the trap is exactly how you escape it. Once you understand why crowds freeze, you can choose to be the one who doesn't. Be the person who acts before the crowd decides for you, because the spell only holds for as long as everyone is waiting, and it breaks the very moment one single person finally moves.